Okay, 4.3, solving quadratic equations by completing the square. So a quadratic function in vertex form can be solved algebraically using our square root property. So when applying the square root to both sides of the equation, there are actually two possible answers. So when we square root, we get x is equal to the plus or minus 3, and that's because negative 3 multiplied by negative 3 can give us 9, and 3 multiplied by 3 also gives us 9. So two possible answers, and we're going to explore that a little bit, and this will play really well into when we talk more about absolute functions. So when we take the square root of both of these, we get plus or minus 4. When we do this one, you take the square root, so x minus 3 is equal to plus or minus 5. So then we have two things that are happening here. We have x minus 3 is equal to 5, and x minus 3 is equal to negative 5. So add 3. When you get x is equal to 8, or x is equal to negative 2. If we do the same thing here, first thing you have to do is divide by 3 to both sides. So x plus 1 squared is equal to 9. Square root, x plus 1 is equal to plus or minus 3. So x plus 1 is equal to 3. X plus 1 is equal to negative 3, x is equal to 2, or x is equal to negative 4. If you notice that it's not a perfect square on one of the sides, it's probably because you need to divide just like we did in C. So then we get x minus 3 squared is equal to 25. Yep. Not 25, but 20. And then square root. You get x minus 3 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 20. So then x is equal to 20 plus 3, square root of 20, or x is equal to 3 minus the square root of 20. That's just me switching it around a little bit, but should be fine. If you have any questions about that one, please let me know. This one, it is in standard form. So this is, we need to break it into the square root property, not the square root property. We need to complete the square in order to put it back to where it was. So then we get x squared minus 8x is equal to 36. We can't square root here. It's not going to do anything. So then 8 divided by 2, then square it, and then add it, and subtract it to both sides. So then x squared minus 8x plus 16 is equal to 36 minus 16. So then x minus 4 squared minus, because of here, squared because it's a perfect square trinomial, is equal to 20. Square root both sides. X minus 4 is equal to the square root of 20. So then x is equal to the square, plus or minus the square root of 20, sorry, to 20 plus 4, or 4 minus the square root of 20. Okay, next one. X squared plus 6x is equal to 21. Complete the square, so then x squared plus 6x plus 9 is equal to 21 minus 9. X plus 3 squared is equal to 12. Square root both sides. You get x plus 3 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 12. Our first case, x is equal to the square root of 12 minus 3, or x is equal to negative 3 minus the square root of 12. Didn't really matter for that last one which way you had it. They're both negative. We are not going to do these ones. We're going to do these ones. This is more completing the square stuff. So let's complete the square. Let's leave it all on one side this time. So x squared minus 10x minus 21 is equal to 0. X squared minus 10x plus 25 bracket minus 25 minus 21 is equal to 0. And that should leave with x minus 5 squared is equal to 46. Square root both sides. X is equal to 5 plus square root 46, and x is equal to 5 minus the square root of 46. Let's do this one. So then x squared plus 4x minus 11 is equal to 0. X squared plus 4x plus 4 negative 11 minus 4 is equal to 0. X plus 2 squared is equal to 15. Square root. X plus 2 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 15. So x is equal to square root 15 minus 2, or x is equal to negative square root 15 minus 2. Okay, and we'll do, that needs to stay there. And we'll do A but not B. First thing that we should do is we should divide everything by negative 2. So then x squared is equal to, plus 3 over 2x plus, minus 7 over 2 is equal to 0. Complete the square, so then it should be x squared plus 3 halves x plus 9 sixteenths bracket minus 7 halves minus 9 sixteenths is equal to 0. This leaves us with x plus 3/4 squared, and then that should be times by 8 times by 8. So that gives us negative 56 minus 9. So 7 ABC 2 plus 9 ABC 16, which gives us 65 sixteenths. And then we square root both sides, and we get x plus 3/4 is equal to the square root of 65 over 16. So x equals plus or minus, don't forget that, the square root of 65 over 16 minus 3/4. X is equal to the negative square root of 65 over 16 minus 3/4. Okay, and let's do a word problem. A 50-inch TV measured across the diagonal has a height that is 16 inches shorter than its width. Determine the dimension of the TV by completing the square. So if we draw this out, this is 50, this is the width, and the height is width minus 16. So then if we do this, this is w squared plus w minus 16 squared is equal to 50 squared. This breaks down into w squared plus w squared minus 32w plus 256 is equal to 2,500. So then we get 2w squared minus 32w is equal to 2,244w. We divide everything by 2, so w squared minus 16w is equal to 11,022. We complete the square, so then w squared minus 16w plus 64 is equal to 1058. W minus 8 squared is equal to 1058. And then W is equal to either the square root of 1058 plus 8, or W is equal to negative square root 1058 plus 8. This one produces the positive answer, so the other one is extraneous. If you have any questions or need me to redo an example, please let me know, but the assignment is there for you.